Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. We'll just give it 2 more minutes for everyone else to join, and then we'll start the webinar. So just be online. We'll give it 2 more minutes for everyone else to join, and then we'll kick off the webinar.
Haider, Rudolph is being requested a password. If you could send that through to him.
Yep, we'll do. We are online, Louis, now. I'll do that.
Okay.
Good afternoon again. So we'll start the webinar. Thank you for joining. So the topic of today's webinar is Intelligent Network Infrastructure for Video Surveillance. And this is going to be a joint webinar between Milestone and Varex, which is one of our community partners. We'll talk more on that. I'll start off with giving you a very quick introduction to Milestone, and then we'll talk about how Varex really helps us when it comes to the network infrastructure and how you can use intelligent network infrastructure for your video surveillance requirements. Milestone is a global leader when it comes to open platform video management software. Now, if we talk about the customer solution stack, if I segment it, as you can see here, into 3 layers, we have the bottom layer, which is hardware. That's where our hardware partners comes into picture, Varex being one of them, be it the edge devices and cameras, IoT devices, server storage, and of course, the network that is very essential to bring all this, glue this together. On top, we have the application layer, and that's where our partners like video analytics, different partners like parking management system, so on and so forth, all these application comes into play. In the bottom layer, where the platform sits in, and that's where Milestone comes into the picture. The Milestone Open Video Management Platform enables the video for all these applications, and it brings together these niche technologies and innovations coming from our community partners. We bring them together and we fulfill the solution stack based on their requirements, based on the customer requirements. And that really allows us to come up with really smart solutions based on different niche requirements from our customers. And we can build solutions into different verticals, fulfilling the different demands of the customer by bringing in the technology which are best in class for that particular use case. How do we do that? We do that with the help of our community partners, the open platform approach that allows us to bring all these innovations into our platform. We have open APIs, SDKs, which our partners uses to integrate their technologies, integrate their innovations into our platform. And not just the technology partners, but this open APIs, we call it Milestone Integration Platform, MIP SDK. We have a developer community out there, a global developer community that uses our SDK, and they can come up with really nice solutions by having the video enablement from Milestone. So we have a developer, for instance, somewhere around the world who's developing some nice technology. They can use our SDK and they can integrate those technologies into Milestone platform, and you as an end user or customer can make use of it. all of these solutions that we talk about, that we integrate, all of these partners, the community partners that we have, these solutions are fully certified and verified by Milestone. So you as a customer, you as a user of Milestone get this peace of mind that the technology, the solution that we're going to use, it's fully validated, it's tested, it's verified. You're rest assured, it gives you extra peace of mind that you're not using technology that's just out there, but never tested, and you're not assured of the results that it will come up with. But it is fully validated. You have full documentation, you have certification reports, you have the version compatibility and all of the other collateral that you need to work with the solution. So that gives you a very seamless approach to work with these partners that we work with. So the platform approach, what it allows you is something, I'll try to sum it up here. So Milestone platform sits in the middle layer. If you see, go back to the solutions stack that I talked about, the Milestone platform layer sits in the center. And then you have all these technologies, all these edge devices, the cameras. Now we're talking about IoT, which is a buzzword as the surveillance industry itself has evolved. It's no more a camera recording to a certain location and you can do playback. The demands have changed. There's a lot more to surveillance now. And we're talking about beyond surveillance as well. So we're talking about IoT, which may not be a video device as such, but it could be a temperature sensor, humidity sensor, weather, and so on and so forth. There's so much that we can do with the data that we have a lot. So all these edge devices, we're talking about drones, we're talking about parking management system, access control system. Most often than not, what we also forget, how do we bring all these technologies together? And that's where Varex come in, the network infrastructure, the purpose-built infrastructure for the surveillance requirement, providing you all the backend support to manage and ingest all this data that is coming in from different various third-party systems onto Milestone platform. And we'll talk about later in the webinar where my colleague from the industry, Luis Coelho, will talk about that. So I'll hand it over to Luis Coelho. Luis, if you can make a quick introduction and walk us through how Varex supports Milestone as a community partner when it comes to network infrastructure and how easy it is for us to work with all these high megapixel camera, IoT devices, edge devices, and bringing all this data together into sort of a converged infrastructure and making use of that.
Absolutely. Thanks for the introduction, Haider. So today I'm going to talk you through a little bit about who we are, what we do, and how we fit together with the Milestone platform. We're going to kick off this slide by saying we're the only network switches designed specifically for CCTV applications, which in a broader picture, we could also talk about how we could also be used to incorporate other elements such as lighting arrays, access control. So we'll power through that. And I'm not changing slides here, Haider. Maybe you can help me and give me control of the.
You can try now.
Still no?
Yeah.
Okay. So about Varex, here's a little introduction to who we are and where we were born from. So we're a company with a proud Swiss-German heritage. You can see here a little map showing where over here on the left-hand side or the lower left, Lörrach, Baden, where our head office is. We've also got offices in Germany, and in Germany, as well as being one of our primary markets where we have a large number of our customer base, we've also got our distribution center, and from there we export throughout the world. And when we talk about the Middle East, we export to our partners, our resellers, our channel from here in Lörrach. But this is where we were born, in Switzerland and in Germany. and this is where you'll find our head office. Again, if you could move for me, Hader, the slide. It's not allowing me to do that. We're not a new company. We've been around for some time. So you can see here a timeline. I'll walk you through it because the lettering is very small, but you can see that we were established in 98. So we've been around for 23 years. We were ISO certified in 2007, 13 years ago. And we started to develop and launch our products 3 years later in 2010. And since then, our foot's been really on the gas in terms of designing and manufacturing the switches specifically for video, which is something we've been very successful at doing in the DACH German-speaking regions for the last 10 years. Approximately two and a half years ago, we really started to accelerate this push for the overseas markets. So today you will see us in large flagship installations in the UK, for example, as well as more locally to you guys over in Bahrain and the Gulf regions as well. And 2020 for us has been really about getting our name known in the Gulf States region as well. You can see here in 2019 was when we achieved our ISO 27000 certification, and that links in very closely to what I'm going to be talking about today, which is how seriously we take cybersecurity and network security. Okay, so we've achieved this quite difficult to come by certification, which is all things cybersecurity related, ISO 27000. If you could, there we go. Oh. Okay, just to give you a quick optic of what our switches look like. You can see here that we've got a variety of switches here. We'll drill down deeper into the product portfolio as we go through, but I think that the important message that we're saying here is that, you know, we build our switches specifically for secured networks that move around video. Video is notoriously difficult and heavy to move around within a network. And what we've done is we've come up with a design and a format of not only taking care of and understanding what the needs of the video security market are, but to also offer feature sets such as advanced power management that make us the right choice. If you're a Milestone user, you want to move around HD video, perhaps you want to add some other elements such as lighting or access control, there's going to be a switch or there's going to be a media converter that's going to suit your needs in our product portfolio. Here we've got a price versus performance chart. So what you can see here is that in terms of CCTV orientated switches versus data orientated switches, we're there on the right hand side, designed for video. We are competitive in terms of pricing, so we're kind of middle ground there, and overall we're a good fit for your medium to large scale video deployments. Some of the benefits are listed here also. So if you've got a requirement for a large backbone, then we've got something here to fulfill those needs. We offer something that I'm going to show a little bit later on in this presentation, which is the graphical management via DMS. It's difficult to Google our prices. We do that so we can manage our channel professionally. We've got real people to give you support in complex projects. When we say strong stock, that means that we typically hold a large quantity of stock so we can supply very quickly and we can turn around projects very quickly. And of course, because of our background of 23 years of experience in the CCTV sector, then we can help our customers with their projects and we can do some of the heavy lifting in terms of troubleshooting and design also. Over these 23 years, what we've done is we've developed close industry partnerships. One of the ones we're most proud of course, is with Milestone, who we've developed a plugin for that we'll talk about during this presentation. But here we've got some different faces, such as Goitebrug, some guys here from Axis also. And this is an image from the Video Security Forum. So we work very closely with industry partners on the hardware and the software side, so that we can make sure that we're always implementing customer requirements, so that our products are up to speed in terms of the feature sets that they have, and we're closely integrated and we understand some of the tendencies in terms of MPEG-4, MPEG-5, power, etc. So today, Milestone is actively using Barox technology in several experience centers around Europe and in the Middle East as well. Here we've got a snapshot of a mail that was sent by Christopher from over in Stockholm in Sweden, and you can see that he's a happy guy. So they've replaced the switches. The showroom now has zero lag. They're extremely quiet versus their previous switches that they used. So they've noted a huge improvement. So once again, thank you for the support that we've given there. We like receiving emails like this. We know that we're doing our job well when Milestone come back to us and they say that they've got, you know, another happy customer or another solid installation using our hardware. So some of the challenges that we have in the video marketplace at the moment is that the ownership of many projects has moved from the typical CCTV man or woman to the IT man or woman, as the networks have become more IP orientated. So the strength of Barox is that we are our capacity of speaking to both of those profiles of customer. So to the IT guy who loves CLI interfaces, machine code, upgrading, patching things, understanding the importance of cybersecurity, we've got a message for them. The drawbacks there is they don't know anything about watts, voltage, anything to do with power, and they understand, like it says here, about binary ones and zeros, and they don't know what an oscilloscope is. Conversely, the security directors or the traditional CCTV men and women are more practical. They know how to mount cameras, optics, lenses. They know what backlight compensation is, but they need easier tools. They're lost when it comes to cybersecurity, and they need more IT training. We sit somewhere in between both of them, and our switches reflect that as well. What do we mean by that? Well, it means that we speak the language of both the IT man and woman, as well as the security man and woman, or the traditional CCTV expert. So our training, what you will find is that it reflects that by giving the messaging of getting the CCTV guy up to speed on security, on networking, cybersecurity networking and patching, whilst when we speak to the IT man and woman, we explain to them what they can do in terms of power over Ethernet. Okay, next slide. And this slide is representative of where we think we sit in the world of CCTV today. When we talk about the integration of VMS systems, we understand that we've got Milestone on one side, who are the software platform that bring in all the components together, such as cameras and others. And we are the cog in the wheel that allows that data to be moved around. So if you have a good solid switch, which is seamlessly integrated and provides this hardware platform for the VMS, it makes the probability of your CCTV network being more effective and not experiencing problems, and also giving you information about in real time about the health of that network, whether you're wanting to run diagnostics or receive alarms, then using Barox switches with this Milestone plugin allows you to gain additional information about the cameras, about activity on that network, whilst locking it down and ensuring that it's cyber secured. Can you help me moving the slide again, please, Hader? Okay, so this is your first snapshot of what our DMS looks like. And this is readily available through XProtect. If you look on the hierarchical tree when you're using XProtect, if you click on the Barox logo, once you've installed your plugin, then now if you're a Milestone user for the first time, you can get a visualization of everything that's happening on your network. So you can visualize your end devices or edge devices. You can see which cameras you have connected, what IP addresses to which port they're connected. But you can also see other computers, you can see other switches. If we look at the image on the right-hand side with the green linking, we can see the full topology. So we can see ring failure, and we can even tell you if there are any problems with the ring or the connectivity between each of those devices. So all in all, what we're able to provide for you is a real-time update about everything which is connected to the switches on that network. We can run probes and diagnostics and give users a fuller understanding of any potential problems that are occurring within their network. And this is how you'd visualize it from the from the Milestone client browser. So this you'll hopefully recognize. On the left-hand side, you can see the hierarchical tree that I mentioned, and the little red arrow on the left-hand side there is pointing towards the Barox logo. And as soon as you click on it, then you've got the possibility of running your diagnostics on any component which is connected to our switches. You can see here a Goiterbrook camera or Hikvision camera, a general PC, an additional switch, which if we click on again, will expand out, and we can see everything which is connected throughout that network. Again, we would also see if there are any problems with the cabling, because we run diagnostics on it also. So all in all, even if you are the end user or the administrator has some limited understanding of CCTV, this allows them to visualize very easily where any potential problems could be. Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag when I change slides. There we go. So if we're using the smart client for Milestone, we've got some different things here that I'm going to talk you through. Here you can see the alarm stack with Barox warnings and Barox messaging. So we can see here that somebody has incorrectly tried to log in. So this could be something of interest for you guys, that a user has tried to log in using an incorrect password. You can see other warnings. So PD overcurrent is potentially somebody cutting the cabling to a camera. And if we look further down into the slide, you can see some of the action buttons that we've placed here. This is really important in Europe and in some places in the Middle East. In some police stations where interviews are taking place, attorney-client privilege means that they have to switch off all of the cameras. Here we've got a hard stop for the camera. We can place an action button, so we can either cut the power completely to ensure that the cameras are powered down, or in the event of wanting to power them back up again or reboot them, then we've got an action button which will allow us to do that directly from the client screen. So here are some success factors. And these are some of the USPs that we consider make us the best fit for video users in the security world. DMS, which I just showed you, is this visual representation of all of the topology and everything that's connected to that network, which is a great diagnostic tool for engineers. We can run diagnostics and probes on power and data output from cameras. We do active camera tracking. So we're continuously pinging cameras. If they fail to respond, the PoE is taken away. So we reboot them so we don't have to physically visit a camera. So that's almost a preventative medicine there. PoE power consumption control. So we can set trigger points or limits using SNMP traps. So when consumption of power starts to increase, we can be alerted to that and we can put some preventative maintenance in place. It's kind of a heads up that there's a problem starting to occur with a camera. Coordinated power up procedure. This is something again that which is unique to us. Rather than overload a switch by requesting to it power from all of the ports at the same time, we softly bring the cameras online by grouping them, or first camera 1, then camera 2, then camera 3, so that softly we bring them all online. Jumbo frames, typically cameras connect at 100 megabits per second. We understand that, and our switches are built to understand that. So we don't drop those jumbo frames, which is something which is a very common problem using standard data network switches. We've got a large backbone capacity. That's both on the 1U and on the DIN rail switches, and something which is especially interesting for users in the Middle East. Maybe not so much the minus 40 degrees, but definitely the plus 75 degrees is the industrial temperature rating that we have for our switches also. So, due to the fact that we understand the world of video, we understand camera manufacturers, we speak to them continuously, we understand the power which is requested by a camera when it boots up here to its peak at 25 watts before falling back down to this standard request of power averaging out at 15 watts. By our knowledge of how cameras function, we can handle power peaks by allocating power specifically by class of camera and by port, so that we can overcome any potential terminal loop cycles of being or having too much power requested of our switches. Another thing, this is hopefully something that you're all aware of. I'm sure a great many of you have seen, but data networks often leave us with what we call artifacts, which are these trails and pixelations over a screen, because their standard switches are not built for video. And the reasons for this are a higher request of bandwidth, a non-understanding of what jumbo frames are, so they are dropped, and the latency in terms of the request as well. Because we understand the language of video, you will typically not see artifacts being left when you're using Milestone with Barox, so we overcome that problem. So, as I mentioned, talking about our history, we're a member of Alliance for Cybersecurity, so we've been allocated this ISO 27000 certificate. We're very proud of this. This means that we understand, we talk the language of cybersecurity, and we help our customers by providing them with the training and the tools that they're able to give greater consideration to all things cyber secure for their network, to therefore hopefully keep unwanted visitors out of their network, locking them down securely. And we've got a series of embedded cybersecurity and firewall-like functions on our managed switches, which allow our users to design a network which is going to be as strong as possible to keep people from the outside coming in. And by way of a summary, Here's a video we've prepared, which will hopefully cover the previous slides and talk a little bit about what we do. Network topology, active camera tracking, active PoE consumption control, raising those flags when consumption grows, and our coordinated power up procedure. Jumbo frames for connectivity to cameras, large backbone capacity on all types of switches, and our graphical management so we can visualize everything which is connected to our network. So we've got topology mapping showing all of the components which are connected. We can even upload these maps to show where all of our assets are based on building maps and plans. And here's the diagnostics where we show cable connections, extended PoE++ roadmaps, cyber secure considerations, disabling port if someone unplugs it physically, MAC locking, multiple user control, and our holistic approach to network design from VMS to switch to camera. We're built for CCTV applications, not just data. We can control our IP network using a license-free XProtect plugin, and we train. We do specific training for our technology partners and customers. And with that, Haydar, I'll hand it back over to you. That's the end of my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Luis. That was really insightful. So what I would like to emphasize here again now for all the resellers, system integrators, and even the end users who are on this webinar is, how many times have you faced an issue where you're getting the frame drops or you're getting the skips in your recording? And how many times you're pointing fingers like, is it storage issue, it's the VMS issue, it's the camera issue? But we always forget the most important aspect in the whole architecture, which is the network. And now with this, the new era of high megapixel cameras, you're talking about 4K, 8K, 20 megapixel cameras. These require lots of throughput, and also we need a very solid network infrastructure. And I would like to highlight here again, Barrx with all its purpose-built switch. And what's also important here is that you don't need to be, if I may use a word, a geek, a network geek to configure those switches or manage your infrastructure. As you've seen, it has a seamless built-in plugin for VMS, Milestone, whereby you are in full control of your network infrastructure. You know all the ports, the wattage in terms of PoE, the throughput that camera is sending. You're in full control of managing. You can even restart your cameras from within Milestone interface, and you know the whole network topology. So you're not going into whether you have a network loop that is causing your network to come down, or you're affecting your network throughput. You're always in full control. You know a full picture, and you can design and expand your network very efficiently and very much more intelligent. Where you're always in control, you have full picture from one interface. You're managing your security, you're managing your cybersecurity aspects, and you're also managing your network. So you don't have to go around, open different web browsers or different applications to configure and manage your network. You can all do it with the help of the plugin from within Milestone interface. Another important aspect is, like I mentioned, all of these plugins and the technology that we've spoken about is fully validated and verified. So you can explore this on Milestone Marketplace. If you visit Milestone Marketplace on Milestone website, you search for Barrx, and you can even download the plugin, admin manuals. There's a nice collateral there that you can go through, and you can learn more about it. So you're more, as they have specifically for the Middle East region, they now have the presence here as well. So if you have any queries from within the Milestone Marketplace, you can post the queries, and Barrx representative will get back to you for demo requests, for plugin requests, or any other requests that you may have. With that, I would like to close the webinar. We'll see if we have few questions that we can answer. And you're always welcome to, by the way, this recording of the webinar will be shared with all the attendees. So if you have any queries later on, you're more than welcome to reach out to us and we'll gladly answer your queries. I have one question here. Cameras get pinged by switch at the same time Markdown's handshake with the camera. Will this not affect the network traffic and lead to congestion? So the question is, if because there's a communication happening, Luis, if you can have some insight, or we can take it later from technical expert as well. Since Milestone is communicating with the network switch via plugin, and at the same time, the cameras are also connected on such. The plugin itself, does it cause any other traffic on the network or backbone?
No, and the backbones that we have, what we need to bear in mind is that it's not a continuous stream. This ping is tiny inside, and it's sent out typically every 30 to 40 seconds. So and it's tiny, especially compared to the amount of data that we're moving around for the video itself. It's almost minuscule. So no, you shouldn't expect any additional latency. Or any problems with it being able to manage the health check of each of the individual cameras. The data packets that are required for that health check are very, very tiny.
Thank you. I've got one more question. It says, does it have a built-in NAC solution on it? NAC? I'm not sure what that is.
NAC, I'm not aware of that, of what that means either. Are we sure it's not M, like Mac? We're talking no. Mac addresses here? Definitely NAC.
Network admission control.
Okay, that's something that I'm unfortunately going to have to speak to my tech support team about and come back to you.
Okay, so I'll know who this question is from, so I'll take a note of that and we can get back to you.
Okay, let's do that.
So, yeah. Is the plugin communicating directly with the network switches or via NMS platform?
Yeah, so what we're doing, what the plugin is taking advantage of there, it's using SNMP protocol for the communication. So typically what we do is that there's a seamless plugin. As soon as you install that to Milestone X Protect, then the communication is happening in terms of the alarms, etc., and the traps that we're setting. That's all via SNMP protocol. So Milestone X Protect is speaking directly to the switches to retrieve the data it needs from them. And summaries such as diagnostics from the cameras as well. It's able to retrieve them via SNMP protocol, directly communicating with the switch itself.
Great, thank you. So that's it for now. I don't have any more questions, but like I mentioned, the recording will be shared with all of you. Also, you'll have with the recording the email addresses of myself and Luis as well. So if you have any questions later or any queries that you would like to ask us, you're more than welcome. We will be gladly answering those queries. And like I mentioned, the plugin itself with all the related information is on Milestone Marketplace. So I highly encourage all of you to go and have a look and browse through the material that we have available there. You're even, there's a download link for the plugin. So if you're already a Barracks user with Milestone, download the plugin and get all the advantages that we have discussed here. And you'll see that how easy it is to control your network with all the added benefit and USPs that we've talked about in the webinar. Thank you again. Thank you very much for joining the webinar. We'll be sharing the recording and we'll be happy to get in touch for other queries that you may have. Thank you once again. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Thanks, Haydar.
Thanks.